Hi team, so this is a view demo for the issues on Elizabeth wherein the users do not have categories. So the issue there is that it's still on the checkout page. So there are many, I can think of two ways in which this could have probably happened. So I will explain the logic first of the creation of these accounts. So first, let me add the product first. So on our checkout page, there on the first step you can choose to log in. So first let me register. So for example, those users has created an account here. On the old logic, once you hit continue, that user will be created but active is equal to no. So I have checked the transactions of the users reported. They are both pending and both of their transactions are not found in the merchant gateway, which means they have reached the confirm order step, but they have not actually made a transaction. So what would have happened is that they registered their personal data here, and then when they click continue, it gets saved in our database and set to no. The user is set to no since they have not paid yet, and then they reach the confirm order. They were unable to pay. They can go back here and sign in. So when they sign in, they have a deactivated account since they have not made any payments yet. Their account would show that they are deactivated even though they look like they have already signed up. So in order to avoid that, I will recode the checkout page. So first, when you sign up now and hit continue, the user will not be saved yet. So all the details will be saved once the order has been confirmed. So we review that. So on success, these are the data that would be saved. Users data, transactions, billing, and category map. Then it will be pushed to the Avalara account. And then on failure, only data that we are saving is the transactions data, and then the customer ID will be set to 0 since we will no longer create the data for the user. So let's try that now. So I'm gonna sign up, test. Okay, so next, continue. So this is the total to be charged as 28.94. So I'm gonna put in the site name first, and then let's check if this user has been saved. So before, when we are still on step 2, the user is already saved but already just set to no. So that has been changed. As you see here, user is not saved yet. It will only be saved if this transaction gets confirmed. So I'm gonna paste the details here so we can check it later. Then, so this should be a approved transaction. So now let's check for the user. It has now been created since I had a successful transaction. So my user is level ID 3, yeah. And then let's check the other details of my user. So let's check the transaction, billing, and category map. So these are my transaction. I'm in transaction. So amount is 28.94, which is correct. Then let's check for tax. Tax is 1.44, which is also correct. Shipping is 3.50, subtotal is 24, and then ship method is just the chess. Created is date today, and then status is approved. So in effect, transactions will also be created on the event that it fails or transacts. So I've also changed that part. Instead of creating a transaction every time they visit the confirm step, it only creates a transaction when you already have a response. So there will no longer be any pending status for our transactions. Next is our category map. So I'm assigned to T34, which is a plan customer, and then this is my billing info. So billing method is CC, bill date is today, CC number and CC expiration date are saved, and then my shipping info are also saved. So let's check for the transaction products. So it's saving properly. I forgot to check the description of the transaction. Let's just double check. So that's 2019 senior blue t-shirt, which is the one that I have ordered. And then let me check my email. I should get a receipt. So okay, same totals, and then it's also check Avalara. So my transaction ID is 103,958. So that's also the same transaction ID. So 103,958, this is the one. And then so this is exactly my product. So the amount is 24, and then tax is 1.44, just same thing that I got. So it got pushed because it is approved, but I'm going to cancel this because this is a test transaction. Set status to void. Okay, and then next one is what else? So next we will test for a decline transaction. So next thing to test is what if the transaction has been declined. So we will check if it will be recorded to their payment gateway, and that it would be recorded in our system. So since we are no longer saving users on the register page. Every declined transaction will be saved with user ID 0, but all the other datas are the same. And then, so yeah, let's proceed. So let's go to checkout and let's register. So again, data is no longer created here. So first we will test if this user will be created once I click continue. So let's check first if my user has been created since I'm already in the confirm step. So as you see here, it's not created after clicking continue on step 2, and then I'm gonna copy this test credit card so that we could test for a failed transaction. So let's click confirm, and then so we are redirected to this page, and then I'm gonna check for the transaction. So select, so this is my most current transaction. So as you see here, user ID is 0 since it is declined from the replicated open card, so the user was not created at all. And then let's search for the transaction. So the amount billed was 28.94. So this was the same as my approved transaction. So 350.24.144, and then so this is the transaction to date. It's a failed transaction, and this is my user, so it has been recorded with the right amount. And then what else? Check for the invoice number so that I can double check the receipt. Invoice, so it's 745. So this is the receipt. Oops, this is the receipt, and I got a failed message since the transaction was a failure. So encountered a problem processing. And then lastly, let's check for transaction products. So I'm just reviewing if everything in the checkout page is working properly after my changes. So yes, it saved the transaction products. So basically what I've changed here is that upon registration on step 2, users are not yet created. Their all data are only saved on success, including transaction details, and then users are only redirected to the website if it already has a transaction ID. So this variable is the transaction ID. So if it is existing and it is greater than 0, then user is redirected, so that users cannot log in unless the entire process has been done. So the last one to be created is a transaction. After that, the transaction is pushed to Avalara, and then the user gets redirected to the office. That's all for the video demo. Thank you. This is only applied to the replicated card so far. Thanks.